Just so the fans know, he fell for it again. Welcome. Mitchy, how about you kick it off?
Yeah, we got the morning after Antony Paisan and MITCHY STEEZ. Although it is 4:15 p.m. since I overslept this thing, that's on me, my fault. But we're gonna give hopefully a little bit more, on point analysis of what just happened in the games, because we have Lenny kind of weighing us down, and we'll have to throw segments in there that have nothing to do with sports so that he stays entertained.
He does, yeah. And also, I regret throwing it to you in the beginning because I wanted to be the one to come out and attack you for oversleeping this morning because it's technically the afternoon after, and I don't know if the pill has worked yet. I may have a seed growing in me. Now it's the afternoon. I don't know how that works because it's the day after. Anyways, you overslept. You're a bum. We're going to move past it. It's okay. The morning after, this is going to be a show, high-quality show. We're going to cover the games from yesterday and the day before, the day after, hence the show title, Mitchy. Any commentary on that?
No, I think they already got it.
I like it. Well, let's just jump into it. This is a super stocked full weekend of super divisional football. We had some four games. Couple of them stunk, but it was still a fun weekend. Let's jump into it. Which one do you want to cover? We got Rams, Packers, Browns, Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, Bucs, Saints. Fuck the Saints. I will say that.
You want to start there and get that out of the way?
Let's just get that out of the way. Just so the fans know, obviously I'm not wearing my patented locks today. I don't deserve them after putting a hefty sum on Saints money line last night. And also I was dumb enough to have the Saints here's what I'll say about doing a 4-leg parlay, Mitch, and having the fourth leg lose over the course of multiple days. I think I would put that in the same category as losing a close family member or friend. I think that's about the same. I was so pissed. $100 would have turned into $400 if the Saints literally could have just won the game. Fuck the Saints. But let's just jump into it. What are your thoughts on this game? 30-20, Bucs win, underdogs.
Yeah, this was my my mortal lock on the show. Tom Brady was Tom Brady. Drew Brees is not Drew Brees anymore. Mm-hmm. And I think I had been hearing that in multiple different places, and it was kind of obvious that he wasn't, himself, and he didn't have quite the arm strength, physical tools to get the ball down the field. They needed Jameis Winston to throw the ball deep one time, which that was a fun play we can come back to. But I thought it was extremely apparent. It was the Saints defense is good, and they kept them in that game. It's incredible with Brees barely being able to throw the ball 20 yards that they were up 20-13 in that game, late third quarter. So, I mean, hats off to Sean Payton, coaching his butt off out there and giving them a chance to win. But, yeah, I think they were just so weird to think about the two matchups with those two guys earlier in the year. Yeah. And, Brees just kind of a shell of himself, which was sad to see, but phenomenal, obviously, career. So, just the way it ended is not going to take away from that.
It was kind of tough to watch. It was kind of just, the Saints probably should have won that game, I think, realistically. Obviously, I'm a biased gambling addict, but the punt return at the beginning that got called back, that should have been 7. There were just so many insane turnovers. I think I got a pit in my stomach. I got a heavy, ugly pit in my stomach when he threw that first pick. So it was like, Michael Thomas, what a clown that guy is. No catches, but he's supposed to be an all-star. Devontae Parker had the same amount of catches this week that Michael Thomas is. What a bum. But that first pick he threw where he kind of like ran outside the pocket, tossed it up, and Murphy Bunting got it and ran it back to the 2. Like that's when I was like, that was rough. But yeah, I don't know. It was just tough to watch. It was like watching it's kind of sad seeing Brees, who's got the mind of just an absolute football genius, just kind of wither away and just didn't have the physical powers to do anything with that game. But
Murphy Bunting pick, and I was rooting for Tampa Bay. The Murphy Bunting pick. Now I saw Gene Steratore, whoever was the rules official, my favorite position in sports, the guy that comes in and reads the rule book. Yeah. They were talking about how it's within 5 yards, blah, blah, blah. watching that looked like he just kind of manhandled Michael Thomas on the route and then shoved him and then picked it up. Now I know that there's no, the tie goes to the runner and the offense gets all these rules. But that one I was like, whoa, when I saw it again, I don't mind them not calling it. I just felt like that's something they usually do call. Maybe I'm missing something. I mean, obviously a huge play in the game. To your point on the punt return, I didn't see what the block in the back or the holding, if it was a bad call. You get 2 big punt returns. I mean, they almost call a penalty every time that someone, it feels like, runs one more than 10 yards. So they get 2 huge ones. I don't know if you can really call that such a bad break that they only had 1 40-plus yard.
I tell you what, I would have felt a lot if this was last year's game and I bet on the Rams. I probably would have been salty as all piss because like that was an external factor, some stupid ref not calling the play. But I mean, the Saints had what, 5 turnovers in that game? I think Breeze threw 3 picks. No, 4. I think he threw 3 picks, and then there was obviously the Jared Cook fumble, which that was insane. I mean, just like in the Bucs just ran the ball down the Saints' throats all game. I mean, holy shit! If you can't stop the run and you're turning the ball over, like I don't really feel bad about this loss, and that's why I think the Bucs are going to get absolutely clapped next week. If they walked out of here winning only by 10 points, I mean, like they got. I think they're just wildly overmatched against the Packers, but. Playoff Brady again, 43 years old, 43 playoff starts, which blows me away. Let's talk about the Saints. Yeah, that's how insane. Like by the way, Tom Brady has more playoff wins in his career. If you took literally any other quarterback on that list of any quarterback that's ever won a playoff game, he's got more quarterback wins than any of 2 of them combined. 2 and 3 are like 16 and 14. And he now has 32, I think. That's like Montana and Bradshaw or something. It's crazy.
You could probably combine the win totals of 6 Bengals full regular season. To get to 14, which is how many championship games he's been in, or he will, by Sunday. Side note on that game is it's going to be kind of a reverse for the Bucs, right? They got beat by $1 billion by the Saints. Earlier in the year, they beat Green Bay by, I don't even know, 30.
Yeah, no, I think that was like 38-10 or something like that. Yeah,
Rodgers threw like all of his picks for the whole season in that game, so it's gonna be that's gonna be a close game. There's no way that Green Bay blows them out. We can get to that later though.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. What do you think about the Saints' future there? I mean, the Saints are salary cap hell this next season. They're losing. Obviously, Breeze is retiring. They've got question marks at quarterback. Jameis Winston coming in to take it over with the BYU kid. He taking it. Like, what do you think about the Saints' future? I think the Saints might be one of those sneaky teams that next couple seasons might end up being like the Dolphins of 2019, offloading tons of players, getting tons of draft capital, and stinking. I got a weird feeling.
Maybe, but it's just like, I don't know. Since they've had Sean Payton, I don't think they've been not phenomenal, but it's always like they're at least decent. But Drew Brees is a big part of that. I heard Warren Sharp, who I love listening to, and maybe I'm just behind on the times on this, but it was the first anti-Taysom Hill take that I had heard with Warren Sharp just before this game, before the Saints-Bucs, being like, if he's not out there, the Saints don't have to worry about trying to do gimmicky stuff. They don't have to worry about trying to make him run the ball and maybe do something stupid. And I'm like, whoa. I thought everybody just loved him, which I do. I think he's great. I feel way better about trying to make it work with him than with Jameis. But I don't know. With Jameis, it's like you can improve. Then he got his eyes fixed, but his last full season, he threw 30 interceptions.
I mean, that's tough.
And I mean, it's the same offense. Well, not really. I guess they did go out and get a lot of help, but there's a lot of those talented receivers Jameis had, right? Evans, Godwin, trying to think who else, but they had some weapons, right? And he threw 30 touchdowns and 30 picks.
Still 30 for 30. Yeah, that's rough. I don't know. I don't like the future of the Saints. Saints have been a cash cow for me over the last few years with covering spreads and stuff. I think they're about to go into a nuclear winter. I'm not a huge fan of that, but I like it. Hey, that's the first ceremonial pick. Let's get. I tell you what. By the way, I mean, you took a break from gambling for a little bit, then you came back. By the way, just so the fans know, how'd your first day of gambling once you came back after a little hiatus? How'd the first day of gambling go?
Yeah, I went 0-2.
Cool. That's pretty much how that went. Describe to the fans the pain of it. What was the scenario? I know the Lakers are probably high on your list right now in terms of fun teams, right?
Yeah. So I went with some NBA basketball. Who were the first? So it was Bucks and remind me.
It was an under.
Bucks Mavericks. Okay, I took the first half over in that. I felt really good about that.
You took Hawks money. It was like a Hawks money line or something like that, or something. Or yeah.
I took Celtics money line parlayed with that. The Celtics won by $1 million. And the first half over was on pace for a while, and then they just went really cold, and it didn't have much of a chance the last like 8 minutes. And so I won one, lost one, but guess what? When you do a parla, as Nikki Cass would say, you lose all of it unless you win all of it. And then the second one, I was like, all right, bounce back pick. I did something very similar. I did a first half under with the Hawks, and I can't remember who, but it was like 116. It was the easiest.
Nailed it.
Easiest one of all time. And then I parlayed that with the Lakers first half money line. So the Lakers to be up at halftime against the New Orleans Pelicans. And they were down 58-57 at halftime.
The end result.
15 seconds into the second half, ladies and gentlemen, they took the lead and did not give the lead up after that. So it's really, it was poetic.
I tell you what, that makes me feel not too bad about my loss last night. That being said, literally, if the Saints had just won that game, I would have profited $1,000 in the snap of a finger. It's just such a dulling, numbing feeling. Like going to sleep last night was just like, because I know you know what I would have done if I'd won that game. I would have pulled out $1,000 immediately. I would have spent it all on Bitcoin. I would have invested it. I would have done good things. Maybe would have gone to the Barstool Fund. Who knows? Didn't happen. So, anyways, gambling.
Things. We should get into game two.
Yeah, game two. Anyways, Bucks Saints. Let's go work our way backwards here. Browns Chiefs. Browns got fucked in that game. They probably should have won that football game over the course of like 5 or 6 scenarios. You had the fumble out of the end zone, which is, people hate that rule. I think it's like the only rule ever that actually like benefits the defense though, really. So I love that rule. There was the helmet to helmet on that play, which is obviously a big controversy. They had the end there was hectic. Punting it at the end there was a huge question mark. But Browns probably should be playing the Bills in the AFC Championship game this year. I think they got screwed a little bit.
Yeah, it was a tough one. I think even a couple of my good buddies that are Browns fans would tell you that they had their chances, though. It wasn't like a blatant, man, we got screwed. You can't call it getting screwed on the fumble, because although that was such a gut punch. It was like, holy, you're going to make it 16-10. And then probably the same thing would have happened. The Chiefs would have gone and scored 19-10 at halftime, if you will, something like that. So you can't. I'm sorry. I gotta get rid of this feature on my computer. But when a dumb text message pops up, it gets me a little bit angry. You can go back, fans, and roll the clip and see the exact moment when I process what that idiot just texted me. Idiot.
Was it Lenny? Did Lenny text you?
It was not Lenny.
Okay.
He only sends smart text messages. But it's hard to say, once that play happened, everything else would have played out exactly the same way. But yeah, gosh, for the Browns, it could not have played out any better than it did. I just kept going back to that interception that Mayfield threw to start the second half, and it's 19-3. You're down 19-3 against Mahomes and the Chiefs. You throw a pick. The Chiefs have the ball to start the second half.
I thought it was ball game right there. I thought
in the red zone, and then whatever. The defense comes up big, gets a stop, missed field goal. It felt like they were it was just a little bit out of reach the entire time until Chad Henne was in the game. When Chad Henne threw that, like, I'm waiting for it, punt return interception.
Oh, God.
I was like, oh my gosh, they got to be like, they're in the driver's seat. They could just go down and score. And I really credit to Kansas City's defense. I heard him talking a little bit about this on TV on the post game, but nobody ever talks about them, rightfully so, when you have just unbelievable guys on the other side. But man, they stepped up because it's like, okay, Henny ended up making a couple plays at the end, but they didn't know that was going to happen. They were playing like, we cannot give up anything, and they didn't. I didn't hate the fourth down as much as some people.
So with the last play, the out route that sealed it.
Oh no, I didn't hate that at all. I loved it by the. I mean, why not?
Oh, you're talking about the punt, the fourth down.
Punting it, yeah, for the Browns. I didn't hate that as much just because it was 4th and 9. You're playing against Chad Henne, so you can. And I know there's other guys on the Chiefs, blah blah blah, whatever. I've listened to all the analysis at this point, but I just think 4th and 9 on your own, whatever, 30-yard line. They had already gone for 2.
Yeah.
Inside their own 30 on 4th and 1. They got both of them. I didn't think they were playing soft or not to lose. It definitely sucks. I heard Big Cat say the worst way to lose, right, is to punt it away and never get it back. But I don't know. Like, yeah, they have Tyreek Hill. They have all these guys. It's like, if they had Mahomes, then it's like, dude, you're either going to score or he's going to get it back and get a few first downs. When they had Henne, I don't care if they still have their other weapons. You got to feel like, hey, our defense can put some pressure on this guy. And they did. They made it 3rd and 14. And that was he made a really nice play to get out of the pocket and run. But that was a broken play, fluke play that you give the Browns defense 10 chances on 3rd and 14 against Chad Henne. 1 out of 10, in my opinion. I think every other time he does a little check down and they stop him. There's so many scenarios I could have seen happening. That's why it made it so much more brutal that he basically won them the game on that play.
I tell you what, Mitchy, spicy sausage, bacon, yellow onion, chicken stock, heavy cream, and kale. That's all you need to know about that. It's also grocery list this week, so something to think about. Yeah, I mean that was a heck of a. I mean, you covered all the bases there. Keep in mind, like, I suffered through the Henne years with Miami for years. I mean, my God, that guy's a bum. But I mean, you just wanted it more on that last play, man. I mean, I tell you what, I'm not a big Henne fan by any stretch of the imagination, but that 3rd and 14 run by him, that's an all-time play. The Chiefs come back to win this year, which I think they've got a really good chance to do. Speaking of which, Mahomes being hurt, that's going to be big. You think he's going to be out next week or in next week?
Everything I've been hearing is mostly just people being like nobody like actually has facts or knows.
I think he's gonna be in. He's gonna be in because I've had many. I think I've had like 6 or 7 concussions or something like that. And those are back in the days where it was like, oh, you got your bell rung, get back out there. But yeah. Speaking of which, I'm not exactly like a physiologist, Dr. NASA man, but I don't think he got a concussion on that play. Because, like I said, I don't think that was a concussion. Did you when he went down, he got like wrapped up behind here, pulled down, and then like it's almost like his neck was like an access point or something like that. His whole body like snapped around when he hit the ground or something like that. I think some weird pressure point or something got pushed somewhere in the neck, and I think he was unconscious. I don't think he got a concussion on that play. I think when he stood up, his body was like, oh, you were without air for a couple seconds there. We're recalibrating right now. I don't think. Anyway, that's just me.
No, I don't. Yeah, I agree with you. Because when I was watching the replay, obviously when he stands up and he's being held up and his eyes are, it's a scary moment. It looks like he's out of it. You can never, because those guys are so big that it's not like he has to have a helmet to helmet, but there wasn't helmet to helmet. And it didn't even look like it's like his head like jerked. It didn't hit the ground. Yeah. That's where I kind of am inclined to agree with you there. But did they say that he officially did have a concussion?
They did
against that.
But I think that can be politicized a little bit as well. I mean, the team doctor. I think the fact that he didn't go back out there, I think common sense would dictate, like, if they're playing. I don't know. I'm not here to have conspiracy theories. I don't think he had a concussion on that play. Also, he was hammering Twitter afterwards. And anyone who's had one before knows light sensitivity and anything with a fucking screen is hell. And I think he tweeted out a shitload of tweets like the day of afterwards. I don't know, just not a big conspiracy guy, but I think they're covering it up, Mitchy. They're covering it up. That's what I think right there. That's not a conspiracy though. Also, I put a bunch of money on the Chiefs money line, and a little stressful, let me tell you. Not to me though, because I knew what was going to happen. But yesterday was also a classic gambling day. I don't know why it happens to me all the time. I put a bunch of money in the first game. It's happened like 3 weeks in a row. Bunch of money in the first game, crush it, lock. Second game kills me every time. 2 weeks ago with the Seahawks. What was the game before the Seahawks game? I don't know. I bet the first one I won. Then I bet Seahawks money line, lose. Next day, do the same thing. I bet the Steelers game, lose. Yesterday, bet the Chiefs game, bet the Saints game, lose. I can't win. I can't hit 2 in a row, Mitchy. I can't do it.
Just a thought. Maybe next time you win the first, you crush. You win the first one. Second one, you bet half of your winnings instead of just let me take all of it out and throw it on this because I'm the gambling god and realize what's happening.
Maybe I just gamble responsibly. Just an idea. 1-800-GAMBLER. It's like if you got that problem, which I don't. Well, I do have a problem. I just can't fucking nail a pick, Mitchy. That's the only problem I've got. By the way, are there any penalties for withdrawing a Roth IRA before you're 59 and a half? I'm just a hypothetical question. Anyways, any commentary on that game there, Mitchy, before we move on? Browns, Chiefs. Give a round of applause to the Browns. The Chiefs have a chance of winning this, but anything else?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely give a round of applause to the Browns, but it just sucks. There is a consolation a little bit when you've suffered through that much losing, but it's like, God, the best team in the NFL, you have them on the ropes. And one of the main ways that you could win is the best player in the NFL gets hurt. You don't want to see that, but it's like the stars aligned for them to be able to go. Browns, Bills, oh, God. So it's just brutal. That'll haunt them for a while, but it's not like they're in a Saints situation. They got a lot of pieces that are like winning football pieces. Offensive line, running game, Baker Mayfield.
Odell back. Baker's clicking on cylinders again.
God, what do we do? Let's dump Odell and his money.
You say dump because of the poop reference?
Oh, no, that would have been really clever.
Good, because Odell, by the way, if you didn't know, Odell likes getting pooped on. Just so if you didn't.
So, in one side note on Odell, I wasn't even thinking of this at first, but they are better without him. I know that's like hot take. He is the best he's the most talented best receiver on their team. I feel like Baker Mayfield is better without him. Their balance on offense, the way because that's what he's trying. When you have a guy like that, it's like a diva. It's like when we Bengals had Chad Johnson. It's not just like, oh, he's so good, he draws a double team. It's like if he doesn't get 10 plus targets, it's going to be a problem. And that's what ended up happening for the Bengals was they had a lot of talent. And then Carson Palmer was finally like, fuck, dude, I cannot stay here. He's a psycho, and I can't deal with this anymore. And that's kind of the boiling point the locker room gets to when you have a guy like that. Obviously, I'm not in there, but I think we've seen enough to know that Odell is kind of that guy, and Jarvis Landry is way more of like a, win first. He came in like changed the mentality, not give me 10 touches and then win. So I don't know. They're not going to get rid of him because he's awesome. He's a great player. But I just think I don't know. They got to figure out a way to be a little more balanced when he's back because he went down early in the year.
Well, it just makes you think if he was in this game. Well, I think if he's in this game, the Browns win this game. But the Browns are just so basic, and it's not a sexy thing to say, but like it works. They line up, they run the ball, they throw the ball through. I mean, it's a balanced offensive game plan. The defense is relatively disciplined. I mean, the Chiefs obviously got their licks, but they're the Chiefs. Like the Browns, like you said, they got great pieces. They've got a kick-ass offensive line. Jedrick Wills and those young guys are going to get better. I mean, they've got an awesome coaching. I'm excited. It's good to see Cleveland rallying a little bit. It's probably not going to be good for you guys next year, but yeah, you got the Steelers. I think the Steelers officially stink. Anyways, let's move on. Bills, Ravens. We're working our way backwards here. Ravens are frauds. Like I've been saying all year, except when I don't say it because that's when they're good. Here's what I'll say. I haven't looked at any of the stats, but if you look back I'm pretty sure all the Ravens wins, they stink. I mean, the meaningless wins. They're a fraud team. They can't win in the playoffs. I don't think they had any business winning that Titans game. Truth be told, I think the Titans are frauds too. Whole league's a fraud. Tell you what, Lamar's getting that extension, obviously coming up here soon. I would not feel good if I was in the front office of the Ravens or if I was the GM of the Ravens. Lamar's a guy that, man, it's not even him. It's just like the Ravens can beat you and kill you if you're not good. But in moments of them needing to do it and playing good teams, they just continuously show up. They don't show up. I don't know, man. I don't like the Ravens, but props to the Bills for pulling that out.
Yeah, I feel bad. I feel for Ravens fans. I would be getting so just irritated because you can't call them a fraud. They were 14-2 last year, and people were like, fraud, and then they got worked. That team, that's a fraudulent thing, to be 14-2, run the table, and then that was just this past year. That was just last year, right?
I think so. Yeah, they lost the Titans.
Okay, I'm trying to make sure that year they were a fraud. This year, at one point, they were 6-5. They were 6-5, and they were forced to play a game against Pittsburgh with nobody on like a Wednesday at 4:30 or something, and they lost that game, and that could have kept them out of the playoffs. That was BS. And then they get their guys back, and they just went out when they needed to. I don't care who they were playing. They ran for 500 yards against the Bengals, blah, blah, blah. But they played 5 NFL teams, and they beat all of them. And then they went into Tennessee. And then if you're just going to play the fraud game, it turns out the Titans are frauds too. No,
they're both frauds.
No, they were not. They just weren't as good as Kansas City or Green Bay. Is that what we're saying is a fraud now? I don't think so.
Well, here's what I'm saying, man. The Ravens play Cincinnati. What do? They run the ball for 600 yards. They run the ball for 1,200 yards. They run the ball for 4,500 yards.
What do you want them to do? What you're going to penalize them because they pounded a bad team? Like,
no, but I'm saying they go, but then they play a good team. What do the Titans do? They stop them. And then Lamar gets a couple rips off a low. Where do they go? They go to Buffalo. That team did not show up in Buffalo. And I think Buffalo's a fraud too.
What do you mean? Well, literally, if you look at that game,
it's
incredibly evenly matched. It's 10-3. They're going in to score. He doesn't see a safety. He throws a pick, and that's the whole game. Like, they made one mistake. It's like, and it was costly. You can't turn it over in the red zone. And then it all the way the other way. It was an incredible play. But it's not like the Bills came out and took a 17-3 lead and then just nothing happened from there and the Ravens just blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, they had a chance to go in and tie it. They made a mistake. Horrible break goes the other way. Then Lamar gets hurt, and it's over. And he's an incredible athlete. I've had the take that I don't have that much confidence in him throwing the ball, which everybody has. But at the same time, the receivers suck. They need to use Mark Andrews a little bit more. But if he's your only option outside of running the ball, like whatever, Brown, they're not good. Like look at the if you take the Bengals, the Steelers, and the Browns, and you look at those like potential receivers, like if you put Tyler Boyd on Baltimore, I think that improves Lamar Jackson significantly. Put Jarvis Landry, you know what I'm saying? Like put one of those good receivers on that team, and I think it changes it a little bit. I'm not saying he's like, some dynamic passer, but people I think overstate that because he is that scramble guy, and that's like his strength.
No, he is though. He's not a dynamic passer, but he is a fraud, just so you know. But fraud. By the way, you'd think a fucking sheep wouldn't be a big fan of coyotes. So you're a Bengals fan. You should be going like, this guy stinks. This guy eats poopy. By the way, he pooped his pants against the Bills. Poopy game 2.0. Either that or he had a concussion. I don't know. Probably concussion.
No, I'm going to be logical. When it comes to the Pittsburgh Steelers, I have so much hate in my heart for them that I won't do that. But when I'm looking at Baltimore and Cleveland, I have a better time. I don't like them. I obviously want the Bengals to hammer them every time, but it's just different. And when you look at how about the other part of the that Ravens-Bills game, the Bills offense. they've looked incredible. And what did the Ravens defense do? Their offense could not get them anything, and stop after stop after stop. And they have them with a chance to go in and tie it. And then the Ravens defense, I know the Bills played a little differently once they're up 17-3, but then the Ravens defense is down 17-3. Like, oh my God, our offense won't score 17 points for the next 4 games combined going into next year. And they're still out there shutting them down and trying to give them a chance. I think they played a lot better. I think that the fraud team was the whatever year that was, last year, 2 years ago, when the Titans came in and punked them. That team was a fraud. This team was a play or two away from the AFC.
I don't know. I think Buffalo is looking like I think they went 3-1 their first 4 games, and they went like 2-2 their next 4, and then since then they've been murdering it. But Bills, I don't know. Either way, I will say this: I predicted easily under in that game. I told you. I said both teams are going to try not to lose. Both teams are going to run the ball a ton. And I tell you what, man, Josh Allen and that Bills team, they're not. I think when they play Kansas City this week, I got a bad feeling about the city of Buffalo. That being said, though, give the Bills props. Fuck them though. Fuck the city of Buffalo, naturally, of course. And I'm kind of salty because Brian Daboll, that bald prick, he's sticking around because the Rams hired Staley, Bryce, Lenny, something Staley, from Todd Staley. What's his name? Bruce Staley, Bruce Willis. I don't know. White guy, white privilege. That's what that is.
Deuce Staley.
Yeah, that guy, running back for the Saints, right? You're not gonna trick me, Mitchy. I'm untrickable. That being said, though,
I mean, he could be. There's so many former.
I think Deuce Staley. No, wait, am I thinking of Deuce?
I think Deuce Staley is a coach somewhere.
Deuce McAllister. I think that's the guy.
That's another guy. Yeah.
The two. There's a Deuce Staley and who's the running back for the Saints is Deuce McAllister. No.
Right, but then so Deuce Staley played for Pittsburgh. He played for maybe Philadelphia. Am I just naming teams in the same state? All right, let's move on.
Let's move on. Either way, the Bills are frauds. They stink. Brian Daboll, you stink. I wish we had like a team of editors because I could put in right now like a sick video of me jumping through a folding table. I did that against Buffalo and Philadelphia. It was dope. I chokeslammed an Eagles fan through a folding table. It was pretty dope. Bills Ravens. Rams Packers. By the way, I will say this: the card, I saw the card clearly this week in some aspects, and the totals this week. Oh my gosh, it was in my vein. The juice was in my veins. I predicted all 4 games were going to go under, and if fucking Lazard on the Packers doesn't catch that last touchdown, all 4 games go under. And also, I said the Packers game was going to go like 16-24. What was it, like 18-25 or something like that? Oh my! I was almost Nostradamus. I got fucked on the under.
Yeah. Other than you saying the scores like you're reporting on a tennis match, you were right.
Yeah.
Well,
Packers though.
Yeah, we lost 21 to 54.
Yeah.
No, it's 54-21. You idiot. All right.
Anyway. Whatever, man. 32 love, right? Whatever. Almost scored the score. Rams Packers though. Rams shouldn't have been in this game. They really shouldn't have been. The Rams shouldn't have been in the playoffs, I think. That defense is pretty dope. Aaron Donald was there, but he wasn't there. I think, you could just, the tenacity that he had, like he'd get past a guard and like a running back would cross his face and he would like reach his arm out. But like Aaron Donald wasn't fully there. Devontae Adams is too good against Ramsey. There was that play where just goes in motion. I mean, what a fucking cheat code that is. And you just got this, at least for me, I got the sense watching that game. The Rams were never going to have it. I mean, they kept it close in some parts and they scored here and there when they needed to, but like the Packers, they had that game the whole time, in my opinion. I don't know. What were your thoughts watching that one?
I agree. It felt like it was, they played as well as they could. I mean, I think the game went kind of the way they needed it to be able to stay in. I think you just get maybe on a tangent and just throw extra aggressive things out there here and there, but they shouldn't have been in the playoffs. I think they're like the most well-coached team in the whole.
They were the most consistently inconsistent team this season. The Rams were.
Oh, no, they were up.
Who are the Rams?
But do you think the Saints shouldn't have been in the playoffs? Because I think there's a lot of similarities. They're both very, very good coaches. They have a great running back. The defense is pretty good, and the quarterback is limited, in ridiculous ways, in different ways. Obviously, Goff, was the thumb. But I mean,
no, I don't mean that. I mean, I would take Breeze over Goff any day of the week, twice on Sunday this season. Goff is a bum this season. I mean, I wrote down here, who the fuck is Jared Goff? Like, what's his future with the team? This guy's taking.
Look, hey, look. To say that he's better than Andy Dalton or tougher than Andy Dalton doesn't mean much. I get it. But Andy Dalton's best year he ever had, the Bengals were 8-0 and then 10-2. He was literally in the MVP race. They're but like his numbers, he was in the MVP race. He was doing unbelievably well. And granted, the Bengals were stacked. He broke his left thumb, non-throwing thumb. Okay, and everybody, like the experts and all this stuff were saying, you got to hold with both hands. We know his right, he throws with his right, but too tough to play through. Goff, you see what I'm saying? Like all of a sudden he dislocates his thumb and he's playing through that. I'm not saying he was unbelievable, but he made some important plays for them. They were also without Cooper Kupp, and this is totally stolen from PMT. Love those guys a ton, but I was thinking this when I was watching the game. McVay getting the Wildcat to work with Akers. I mean, trying to figure out a way to move the ball with that offense, and then they still were in the game. You're down 25-18 in the fourth quarter. I mean, it's kind of a hats off situation to their coaches for even being in that game and punking the Seahawks the week before with the same team.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean,
Wolford starting.
Yeah, John Wolford, right? I don't know. I don't think the Rams. I think the Rams. Huh?
I was saying, even you go back to week 17 with the Rams, you need to win, and you're playing a Cardinals team with Kyler Murray and those guys that they had a chance to go to the playoffs, and you beat them with Wolford. I mean,
it's not even. I mean, I think the Rams have a solid team. I don't know how they got out. I think they're still in salary cap. Have they paid Donald yet?
I don't know. I don't really pay attention to that as much as maybe I should.
I just think
I only pay attention to that really for like the Bengals, and then in the off season when there's nothing else to talk about, I'll listen to what things are going to look like. But I'm never like up on that.
Oh, Brandon Staley, that's the guy.
Oh, by the way, I want to credit myself real quick because I did do a quick little Google. Deuce Staley. He's currently a coach for the Eagles. He played for the Eagles and the Steelers. Nailed it.
Deuce McAllister is the running back coach for another team, and he was the running back for the Saints.
He was. He was. He was the Saints running back. This will be fun for the fans to wait while we.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow. You want to know why I figured out why they called Deuce McAllister Deuce.
The big fat guy.
His real name is Dulamus Janad McAllister. Dulamus.
Do you have any commentary on that, Mitchy?
Dulamus. I want us to have Lenny try to spell.
I mean, if the guy, that's what, man. If the guy's name is
Lenny try to spell Deuce, and wait, he's not going to watch this. We'll have him try to spell Deuce, like the name, like the name of a running back in the past, like Deuce McAllister or Deuce Staley. The two are spelled differently, so whatever he says, we'll just say it was the other one.
That's fair. Well, also, I'm just saying. I think if Deuce McAllister's real name was Jack Smith, I don't think you would have had any commentary about that. I just think that says a lot. I think your reaction to that, Mitchie, says a lot about our society. Really, at the end of the day.
No, I disagree. Not going to let you interpret it that way. I will give you credit.
You can't stop me. That's my truth.
That is your truth. I should be put on notice.
You're on notice.
Say whatever you want. I'll defend it. Deuce McAllister, you're right. Saints, 8-year career in the NFL as a running back.
Madden 07, one of my favorite childhood games. 26. Yeah. I don't know, running back, big fat guy. Speaking on Lenny, how big of a sack of shit is that guy? Is he even a team? Is he even on the team anymore, man? Is he even an organizational player anymore? What's going on with Lenny?
I don't know. The guy says he's going to be involved in everything, and here we are.
I think it's I think, I blame myself because obviously as the idea king for the organization and the creator and the owner, obviously, I came up with the awesome idea of a beer chug idea. And I think having him chug an alcoholic beverage at different times of the day, once a week, I think I've ignited some past demons inside of him, man. I think that's on my shoulders.
Hey, it's never too late to make it right.
Yeah. Well, it's never too late to not love the Jews, and I do. He doesn't. So it's a known anti-Semite.
Well, I tell you what, Ant, I had fun with this. I'm upset. I'm a little bit. It's a little bittersweet that we're gonna. We just dwindle down, fewer and fewer games. We only got 2 to talk about, and then the Super Bowl. But I had a good time.
Yeah, we had a good time here. Any ending commentary here? I think these episodes will go a little bit longer in the future. I know the fans are waiting on bated breath for hot news and hot takes and hot updates and all that stuff. But any ending commentary, any gambling tips for the fans? Because I know you're really good at that. Are you going to jump back on the old horse this week?
I don't know. That's going to be a game time decision, but I have a feeling I will. I will say my hot take here. My hot take, and it's hard because I don't like or dislike necessarily as a player Aaron Rodgers. He's incredible to watch, and what he just did with the Barstool Fund. Now I'm like, oh God, this guy's an awesome guy. I thought he was a jerk, and it turns out he's really not. And so it's hard for me to say this because I could easily see him winning. But my hot take, ladies and gents, is that we are looking at a Bucks-Bills Super Bowl, a double underdog Super Bowl. I think for sure Buffalo makes this a very, very close game. They are going to go into Kansas City and not be afraid of these guys at all. I've gone back and forth on the Bills for sure, depending on the matchup, but I like, after what I saw from the Browns, I like Buffalo against Kansas City. I think it's a 2-point spread early on, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And for anyone with half a brain or has watched 2 episodes of our show, if Mitchy's on Bills Bucks, you're gonna want to go ahead and put Chiefs Packers as the lock for the Super Bowl.
Well, I mean, okay, if you want to do that, it's a hot take. It's kind of what I'm rooting for.
Oh, hot takes, fun takes.
Yeah, it's kind of what I'm rooting for, but it's also like you're not that smart football wise. If
I'm a sharp better. What are you talking about?
No, I'm saying if you're sitting there being like, "Ooh, I needed somebody to tell me the underdogs are going to win. Now I'm going to pick the favorites." Whatever. The reality is, I said that. I feel like it's maybe more Bucks Chiefs. I just have more of a feeling about Tom Brady, this being a season of destiny for him, being 43. He doesn't look. I mean, I guess last little bit of commentary. We talked a lot about Drew Brees. Brady's. I mean, I know you had years of torment. If we're talking about Roethlisberger and Roethlisberger were like an upstanding citizen like Brady is, then I would get the comparison and you'd be, it's hard to compliment the guy when all you see is these go. But I mean, he literally is. The guy's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's a bum. He's accomplished nothing. Everything, big asterisks next to everything. I will say this though. I just gotta, what do they do? Pliability in TB12. I just gotta start hammering some water and pliabilitying myself, and at that point I'll be able to play till I'm 43 too, right? Sounds like that's the secret.
Himalayan pink salt.
And also you got to French kiss your children daily, all the time. Kiss your kids on the lips intimately, and if you do that, you can play football till you're 43 years old.
Shower them with love.
Yeah, with your mouth, on their mouth, oftentimes. So make sure you kiss your kids on the lips, guys. That's the biggest takeaway for this show. Other than that, Mitch, I think we're golden here. I think the fans. I anticipate this video getting at least a million views. We got some hot sponsors coming in this week. I think we got. I think as an organization, we're in a good spot. By the way, just so the fans know, bit.ly/Degens merch. Go ahead and buy a T-shirt and give us your money. And by us, I mean me, because I'm not going to split that. But anyways, T-shirts. Anything else there, Mitch?
All good.
I like it. Till next time.